Here's Paddy's latest offer. It's 2 up, you win. We'll pay out immediately if the team you back goes 2 goals up. Available in all Premier League and La Liga matches. Not available in shops. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Hi there, welcome back to Racing Post Football Postcast. It's Bruce Millington, Mark Langdon, Ian Wilkerson and Paddy Powers, Ed Quigley. We've got 3 Premier League games to rattle through starting at 12 o'clock. It's Crystal Palace versus Hull. And this game, Ed, takes on a different dimension if the previous day Swansea have beaten Sunderland. All of a sudden, those of us who are going to Selhurst wearing red and blue are going to be very, very nervous bunnies.
It's a huge game. Palace are evens, the draw is 5-2 and Hull are 14-5.
Mark, that evens, I don't know if you could lump on that, could you? No, what do you think?
No, you are right, though. The Swansea game, I think, will have a big bearing on what happens, particularly with our Hull. I know you'll be nervous as a Palace fan, but for Hull, you know, that they'll know whether they maybe need to win or whatever to stand a chance of staying up. Difficult game with all Palace's injuries. Wasn't sure how many of those were going to come back because they're really decimated.
They're saying hopefully Tompkins and Cabaye might be. I mean,
I think that makes a big that would make a big difference. At the moment, I go for tentative draw because I think that will keep Palace. I don't really feel the need for Palace to go desperately searching for the win, and I'm not sure Hull are good enough to win. They may well need to do that, but I think Big Sam, he's been in these sort of situations many times, and he finds a way to sort of manage the situation quite well. And I'm not expecting a very adventurous performance from Crystal Palace, but just enough to keep Hull at harm's length from them.
How do you like the Jeffrey Schlupp centre-back experiment?
No, yeah, that's why when you're saying, who could come back, I mean, I'm not saying they chucked the game at City, but I mean...
It was dreadful, wasn't it?
Could have played Sam at centre-half, might have got a bit better.
I mean, it looked hard from the moment you saw how many players were out, to be fair to Big Sam. I'm not quite sure what else he could have done. Really.
No, I suppose not. And I suppose there was a theory behind it, wasn't it? He said that City got a very mobile forward line, so he wanted athletic defenders, but didn't really work. What's going to happen here then, Wilco?
I've got faith in your boys.
Good lad.
I think they'll win. Hull have obviously got to go on the front foot, but their away record has been dismal. They've only won once on their travels, and that was in Swansea in August. So you can't just click your fingers and switch it on when you need to.
You can at Palace. But Burnley did. Sunderland did.
They've conceded at least twice on the road in 11 of 17 away matches, and obviously it's going to be nervy. But looking at the prices, Palace were 4-5 to beat a better team, Burnley. And obviously they couldn't do it, but they were still priced up in that respect a couple of weeks ago. So Hull are not as good as Burnley. So on that basis, I'll be backing Palace at evens.
Good man. Ed, what do you think will happen here?
Yeah, all the lads kind of touched on it already. Palace are desperately missing Sacco at the back. He went off the 57th minute against Spurs and they've conceded 8 goals in 2.5 games. Now, that was Spurs and Man City were two of those games, but still. Hull's away form's atrocious, and I actually see goals in this. But obviously a lot hinges on the Swansea game on Saturday, but over 2.5 at evens for me.
Okay, West Ham play Liverpool at 2:15 at the London Stadium. Liverpool are absolutely desperate and desperate for points here, and if Arsenal win the night before again, they're going to be very, very edgy about this one, aren't they? Just how short are Liverpool, Ed?
Yeah, so West Ham are 19-5, the draw is 3-1, and Liverpool are 7-10.
7-10 Liverpool, Mark. What do you reckon?
I didn't think that was overly bad, actually. I mean, I was expecting shorter, given Spurs were 2-5 at the London Stadium the week before, and I know Spurs didn't win. But Liverpool are as desperate for the points at the moment. We assume that Arsenal get the job done as we speak. I didn't think the 7-10, was that disastrous. I know they've not been playing as well recently, Liverpool, but West Ham, other than that sort of performance against Tottenham, have not been very good themselves. And I think that you've got to ask questions of Slaven Bilic if the players can do that sort of when they want in a big game, and then I think it could be a bit of after the Lord's Mayor show, whatever that actually means. But you get the impression that West Ham sort of put everything into that game against Spurs and could quite easily just fall back to being what they've been for most of the season. If they do that, then I think Liverpool are okay at this price.
I guess that the Lord Mayor's show used to be a massive thing. I don't even think it's on the telly these days, is it? But anyway, I guess everyone used to get so up for the Lord Mayor's show, and they probably all went off and got absolutely wasted and had a really good time. Then the next day, it was like, oh, God.
It always used to be on before Grandstand, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
So the Grandstand always used to suffer, I think.
I used to get it mixed up with the Trooping of the Colour. What's the difference there?
Let's cancel Swap Shop there. That was always a disappointment.
Yes, that's true. They did. Anyway, Wilco, West Ham, Liverpool, what do you think?
West Ham obviously had that big game on Friday, but I think this could be quite a tough game for Liverpool. They've won their last 3 on the road at Stoke, West Brom and Watford, who you could put in the same bracket as West Ham, are teams that are sort of like winding down. But I think that the Hammers could build on that. But I wouldn't be. I think they look a touch short at 7 to 10. But the bet that I like is under 2.5 goals. When West Ham beat Spurs on Friday, they got the goal, but some of their shooting was horrendous. Most of it was going halfway down the Jubilee line towards Canning Town. It was they were very rarely tested Lloris. I don't think they've got a lot of goals for them, and Liverpool would jump at a 1-0 or a 2-0 and getting out of there and getting the points. So I was quite surprised to see under 2.5 at even money. So I'll back that.
Sounds half decent. What about you, Ed? What are you going to do here?
Yeah, I said top of the show, like Liverpool are a tricky team to price. To me, Liverpool look a bit short, but it's difficult to gauge West Ham's motivation. Obviously, they were up for it against Spurs, but that was a Friday night game under the lights of West Ham, and not up to par.
It's the derby factor as well.
Yeah, derby factor as well. Like Liverpool have been pretty effective away from home. Like they've won 3 of their last 4, and it was against teams of West Ham's kind of ilk. Like West Ham are relying on Cagliari up top for goals. Like I can see where Wilco's coming from with the under 2.5. Like I just think maybe Lanzini at 7 to 1 and the first to score for their team market could represent a bit of value, because he'll be bolting forward with. Like,
he was by far their best player, wasn't he?
Yeah, like Cagliari's useless. Like, do you know what I mean? So, like,
I thought he played quite well. My neighbour who's a West Ham fan, I said, "Who's this Cagliari?" And he said, "Yeah, he did all right. He's not normally that good." But,
He hasn't done much in front of goal, has he? He held it up quite well, I suppose, against Spurs.
Okay, and talking to Spurs, they feature at 4:30 when they receive Manchester United. Difficult old game to price this one up, isn't it?
Yeah, so Spurs are 7 to 10, the draw is 14 to 5, and United are 4 to 1.
Who's the better 7 to 10 shot, Mark? Liverpool or Tottenham?
I would say Liverpool, just because we know that their sort of motivation is clear. For Tottenham, I wonder whether the last game at White Hart Lane, even though it's only moving to a new stadium that's just sort of on the same sort of place, really. I just wonder about the occasion, really, for Spurs. They haven't dealt with big occasions very well in the last couple of years. You have a look at the cup final against Chelsea, didn't turn up. FA Cup semi-finals, they've been losing. Nearly in title races, and then losing at West Ham, for instance, last week. So wasn't entirely convinced that they'd be able to deal with all the hula-baloo that's coming with this lane finale thing.
Are they going to do like what West Ham did?
They are. I mean,
I hope they get bigger names. West Ham picked out some really obscure names, didn't they, to feature in there? So you're going to have David Kerslake.
Sol Campbell's furious he hasn't been invited.
There was a great tweet that someone said, "Well, why is Sol Campbell bothered? Arsenal were all invited to White Hart Lane and none of them turned up."
That was very point.
But I was looking here for this game over 2.5 goals. United matches in these big games have been low scoring, but that's when they've been kind of playing that way, for a specific reason. I don't think they'll have the same focus, and I was expecting this to be a more entertaining match. Not been ultra convinced by Tottenham defensively, actually, in the last few weeks. He's been messing around with the fullbacks, and even in midfield hasn't quite been to the same standard that I saw earlier on in the campaign. So overs for a White Hart Lane sort of finale to finish with a bang.
Excellent. Well, presumably Chaz and Dave will be there.
They are.
They've got to be, haven't they?
Yeah, they've tweeted they'll be there. Klinsmann's turning up
again. He was there the other day.
Yeah, I suppose it'll
Martin
be
Chivers.
He lives there.
Chivers does
he's
the
in the
half-time
background,
chat.
yeah.
Does he?
Yeah,
if you go to the David, what's he called, Burtonshaw, Keith Burtonshaw's
sure.
suite, you'll get Martin Chivers, will you, telling a few stories of that
Yeah, you
yesteryear.
will. You normally get Paul Allen will turn up, and
wow.
I mean, it'll be a
You
nice.
going?
I'm going to the pub outside. I'm not bothering to go inside. No,
You're going to go and ransack the place afterwards, get a brick or a seat or something?
No, you can buy your seat, can't you? They're charging them.
As a member,
quid.
they're sending me some grass.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Blimey.
Well, my dad informs me, so I'm waiting with bated breath to get that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it
because I live in club in drug dealing shop.
Living in a second floor flat. I don't know what I'm going to quite do with it.
But if you go over to Spurs, you'll see the new stadium being built around it at the moment.
It's incredible.
So it's going to be. It's not like a team moving, but because they want to sell it off as a sponsorship, you know.
Are they not going to call it White Hart Lane?
No, they're not. So
that's mean.
That's why they are. I think making a bigger deal, and you can buy the programme for a tenner as well if you so wish, which I won't be doing.
At least they played for both clubs. Haven't done that this week, have they?
Oh, yeah, United, quite handily take Tottenham's best players, Berbatov, Sheringham, Carrick.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah.
And Alan Brazil.
Alan Brazil. They played for both clubs.
Terry Gibson.
Absolutely. Okay, Wilco, what's going to happen here? An emotional day.
Yeah, we've talked about the emotional factor. I think maybe it's being overemphasised. It's probably going to still be a strong Spurs team, but we don't know. We probably do know what Mourinho's going to do. It's not going to be his team firing on all cylinders with the because there isn't the gap to the like. There's 3 or 4 weeks until the Champions League final. The Europa League final is a lot closer. So I think it's the 24th of May.
Yeah,
so it's only really just around the corner. So I think they'll be not taking things easy, but we might see a few more less familiar names. And the title's obviously gone for Spurs. So I'm just going to keep it simple, really. 11 goals in his last 7 games at the Lane. Harry Kane, first goal.
Harry Kane. What price is Harry Kane, Ed?
He is 3-1.
He's one of those I don't want to score.
I know.
Yes.
I forgot to mention that.
I won't be jumping up and down if he scores.
Yeah, come on, Lukaku. Ed, what's the bet here? Tottenham, Man U.
Yeah, on the face of it, Spurs price probably looks a little short, but when you consider Spurs went off at home to Arsenal recently 4-5, and then also Arsenal went off 11-10 at home to United there last weekend, like this price could actually shorten a tick or two. I reckon it could go off around 8-13. I reckon on top of the fact that United have another Thursday, Sunday fixtures this weekend. So yeah, I think Spurs are a good, decent bet here at 7-10, and obviously they'll surely want to win their last fixture at White Hart Lane as well. That's only another positive for me. But yeah, that it's Spurs 7-10 definitely for me. Yeah.
Very quickly, we'll do the Monday night game because it's 8 o'clock. Chelsea v Watford. Unless you support Chelsea, you don't really give a toss. They're bound to have won the title by then. Watford bore the hell out of me. Lango, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean Watford have been an abysmal team this season. I don't know how they're not involved in the relegation scrap. Whenever I see them, they are easily one of the worst 3 teams in the league, no doubt about it. They must have just picked up enough points in
I can't
the
quite work
games.
it out.
I mean, I assume Chelsea will win. If they've won the league, they'll probably rotate a few, and Willian has done very well recently. So if Willian starts, he could be on pens as he was when in the semi-final on free kicks.
He's due one of those free kicks, isn't he, from the left-hand side where he swings it in and it goes in.
Well, he scored
he
one.
Used to do loads of them,
did.
Didn't
He got one against Tottenham, didn't he, in the semi-final? A different type of free kick, but he was on target against Everton as well. Plays in the front 3 usually when he does start.
He's very unlucky not to play more games.
He is,
isn't he?
I mean, Pedro's just done very well for Conte. So Willian to score first if he starts.
What price is Willian, Ed?
Willian is 9-2.
9-2, that sounds all right. Wilco, got a bet for us here?
Oh, it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, Watford haven't scored in their last 5 away matches, and they've.
Honestly, mate, have you got a bet or not? I don't. This game's already boring me. No,
I haven't. Not really. I'll be on holiday, so I'm not bothered.
Where are you going?
I'm going with 23 other hopefuls for a golfing week in Portugal.
Oh, lovely.
Flying out on Sunday night. Full Ryder Cup.
Beautiful.
Teams, the lot, yeah.
Valdelobo and all those places?
Oh, all sorts of places.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
How nice.
Can't wait.
Oh, that'll be nice. Well, you'll be down at the Natterjack or some bar, won't you, watching this with a few beers inside you? Okay, Ed, have you got an inspirational way to end the broadcast with a great bet on Chelsea v Watford?
Just if Chelsea win the league on Friday night, just back Watford +2. Chelsea will drift a good bit, and it'll be a big John Terry fest as well on Monday.
Yeah, what about John Terry goal?
Yeah, John Terry on the pens, maybe.
Yeah, John Terry might get on the pens actually. That's not a bad shout.
certainly worth considering.
17 to 1 oddly at the minute, first goal scorer anyway.
But maybe the last. I wouldn't be surprised if he was on pens.
Would you do him last rather than first?
Yeah, you'd do him last, wouldn't you? Yeah, I mean they'll be teeing him up if it comes to it. Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
That is a good shout. Okay, chaps, thank you very much indeed for your expertise. We're back next week. Before we go, just a quick recap to remind you that if you want to win a £25 or €25 bet with Paddy Power, tweet the name of the 2 teams that are competing in the Champions League final with the hashtag Postcast, and it could be you. Thanks very much indeed for listening.
Check out Paddy's new kicker feature. If you fancy your team to run riot, add a kicker to your bet. And if your team win big, you win bigger. Paddy Power, you beauty.